Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. Coming up on today's show, among other things, we're going to take a look at how for young people there's a couple great ways for them to learn the game and to compete in the Philadelphia area. The Philadelphia PGA Junior Tour currently has more than 800 golfers participating in 90 events over the spring and summer, and we'll take a look at these young golfers during a recent championship held at Chester Valley Golf Club. Another opportunity is the PGA Junior League. It is the flagship program of the PGA of America and PGA Reach Philadelphia. It's grown. Now more than 60,000 kids are playing on teams nationwide. Teams from the Philadelphia section competed recently for the local championship at Hartford National. Players on each team received expert coaching, and they learned how to work together and support each other on the golf course. And we'll take a look at details about a hunger drive recently kicked off by our partners at Valley Forge Tourism. The Freedom from Hunger food campaign runs through October 31st and continues to build awareness of the increased need to feed the hungry, especially now with inflation. And our teed-off panel considers the question, who they would like to be from past or present golf. That's our tee sheet. It's another edition of Inside Golf coming up.
The 25th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. Your next golf getaway is in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Visit montcogolf.com. By the First Tee Greater Philadelphia. The First Tee not only helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit firstteephiladelphia.org. By the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, a community of professionals enhancing the game of golf since 1925. Make sure you thank your golf course superintendent today. By Gap, celebrating 125 years of amateur golf. By Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, a digital publication and private business network. Read the current issue free at jerseymanmagazine.com. By the Haverford Trust Company. For life's must-haves, there's Haverford. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia PGA section, the experts in the game and business of golf.
Golf is the great equalizer. For many, this journey is an escape from reality, a chance to be part of a team, a career opportunity. PGA Reach impacts lives through golf by lifting people up, giving them hope, and sending them down an alternate path that they never saw coming. With PGA Reach Philadelphia, as in life and in golf, the most important shot you take is the next one.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. If you've been watching the show for a few years, you know that the Philadelphia section of PGA is always trying to grow the game, especially among young people. The Philadelphia PGA Junior Tour leads the region in providing opportunities for fun as well as competitive golf. Young players have a wide range in age, ability, and experience. Tournaments are held at the area's top facilities. Inside Golf recently covered the Junior Tour Championship at Chester Valley Golf Club that featured the season's winners and top players participating.
I'm the Junior Tour Director at the Philadelphia PGA section, and I'm here at the Tour Championship today. The Tour Championship covers our entire season. Anybody who wins on the tour gets an invite to the Tour Championship. We have over 800 members that play on our Junior Tour over the course of the season, and we cover about 90 events and 12 DCPs over the course of the summer. Our section ranges from State College out to Atlantic City and down to Rehoboth, so make sure to check us out.
I'm a tournament coordinator with the Philadelphia Junior Tour. This year we introduced the Fundamental Tour. It's a developmental league for kids that are not too much into competitive golf and they're beginners, ranging from the ages 7 to 18 years old. And we have about 45 to 50 members this year, and we're hoping to grow those numbers next year and hopefully they can join the Philly Junior Tour eventually throughout their career. And if you want to check us out at info@phillyjuniortour.com or email us at info@phillyjuniortour.com.
Another opportunity is the PGA Junior League. The Junior League is a program that's part of a national PGA initiative. Young golfers competing as teams under the leadership of their PGA professional coach. The culmination of the season is a series of competitions to see who eventually will have a chance to play in the national championship. The Philly section competition was held recently at Hartfeld National.
PGA Junior League is a great way for kids to get started in the game. They go out there and they play as part of a team. They have a partner on the golf course and they get around and have fun while doing it and learning from PGA coaches. We've seen tremendous growth over the years. It's even though we had a little bit of a downward turn with COVID, as all youth sports did, we hung in there and we were able to bounce back even more in 2021, and we've seen good growth as well this year. The championship season gives those players that maybe are a little bit more experienced or a little bit more skilled, it gives them the opportunity to get out there and compete against other highly skilled players. So it's still focused on fun. But there's that little bit of competitive edge and gives a little bit of a different feel to it, and that's why it's a very exciting event.
I like PGA Junior League because it's very encouraging. It takes a little bit less pressure to have a partner with me and being able to help me talk through my shots and just kind of make sure that I'm not getting like flustered out there and just keep on going with a positive attitude and stuff.
I love watching the kids grow up, and I was very fortunate. About 4 or 5 years ago, I went to nationals with a team, and it's just a great experience seeing the kids do really well. First thing is always to have fun, so that the kids and the parents are going to have a great time. But just really consistency, and today was, pars are a really good score, and I keep telling the kids, hey, practice your putting. They all want to hit it 300 yards, but it comes down to who can make the putts and who can chip well.
And if you would like more information on those youth programs, visit phillypga.com. All right, stay with us. Coming up next, nobody should be hungry. And our partners at Valley Forge Tourism are working to make sure that everyone has enough to eat. We'll hear more about their Freedom from Hunger Drive. It's coming up next here on Inside Golf.
Ready, everybody? Do you think this Valley Forge vacation was your idea? We've been controlling us the whole time. This racing game is great, but nothing beats the real thing.
That sloth you think I love so much gets me a free trip to the zoo.
They don't know they're hungry yet, but I do. I'm starving!
Charlie! Charlie! Works every time.
Just wait until you see what I plan for the next trip. Visit Valley Forge, where kids make the rules.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. Our partners at the Valley Forge Tourism Convention Board are partnering with the Montco Anti-Hunger Network, helping to provide families with food assistance. Recently, the food drive kicked off its 8th season, serving up hot lunches to more than 100 guests. Here to tell us about it is Rachel Riley.
The Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board kicked off its 8th annual Valley Forge Freedom from Hunger food drive at the Norristown Hospitality Center to help raise awareness about food insecurity in Montgomery County, PA.
Well, we're grateful to the Tourism Board for the 8th annual Freedom from Hunger food drive. The need has gone up tremendously over the past few years. So happy that you're back in a kitchen. I'm happy to be here volunteering, but grateful that the food drive that continues to go on.
It was very hard during COVID for us not to be hands-on. Our team did an exceptional job doing everything virtually, but it's so good to be back. 8 years with our commitment that no matter what, we would do whatever it takes to fill these cupboards up with food and take this poundage to a record amount every year.
And every year it's gotten better and better. And it kind of gives me chills to come here today and just see how much you've done already and what you're doing to kick things off again this year.
don't think people realize how many people are struggling in general, especially during the holidays. This year is going to be real demanding, as we're already seeing skyrocketing food prices with the economy. So our commitment has always been to be there for community.
You know, for us at Montgomery County Community College, a portion of our students do struggle with challenges such as hunger. And hunger and food waste, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, and it absolutely makes no sense. So it's actually our pleasure to just be a part of kind of combating some of that, some of the food insecurities in certain areas. People shouldn't be hungry. Like, it just makes no sense to me.
It's something that's unseen a lot if it doesn't impact you directly. You know, prior to 2020, we know that we had 100,000 people who were food insecure in Montgomery County, which means that they make too much to get assistance, but they weren't making enough to eat. We know that those numbers have gone up. We haven't been able to do it with the pandemic, but we know that those numbers have gone up. So it's important that it could be your neighbor. It could be anywhere.
Well, one of the things that is really neat is that, you know, a lot of people don't know that there's 50 plus food pantries across Montgomery County. And one of the things that we do is we really help coordinate food that comes in from multiple sources, including food drives like you guys are leading here. But we have multiple sources, and we also work with government entities, the Montgomery County, the state, etc., to find the best way to get available foods from places like grocers, from various government programs, and from food drives like this one into the hands of the pantries that then can get the food to the people in need. Those are the boots in the ground that make it work.
Well, today we have faculty and staff. We prep the food, cook the food, kind of package the food, and then deliver the food. So we were there this morning, got there bright and early. We made actually all of it, the chicken, the vegetables, I did the mushrooms, and the salad. So our faculty are actually, our teaching staff is there.
But we also do it by working with local grocery stores and food distributors, so that, and people like Phil Abundance and Share Food Program, that allow us to really leverage each dollar and get more for our bang for our buck.
People are so grateful, and it's humbling that people are so grateful to get a good hot meal. It makes me recognize how fortunate I am, but makes me also committed to making sure that we get everyone in our society. No one should be hungry.
Be humble. Think about how good you may have it, I may have it, all of us may have it, and then reflect and say, what can I do? Because I need to. And that's not just words, that's facts. So please, please come out and support this, especially with what's going on right now with the price of food headed into the holidays.
Trying to get to 40,000. I've made my contribution. I'll make another one. And I think if we get to 40,000, it'll be 100,000 since the food drive started, which is fantastic.
The Valley Forge Freedom from Hunger food drive will run through at least the end of October, and we're here with Megan Tomlinson, Director of Events for the VFTCB. She helps a lot with the food drive every year, including the kitchen takeover. Megan, how can folks donate?
Just go to valleyforge.org/hunger or donate directly to the Norristown Hospitality Center.
All right, thanks, Megan. For the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board, I'm Rachel Riley.
Thanks, Rachel. You know, monetary donations are the best way to aid with purchasing high demand and much needed items. And if you would like to donate, here is where you can go. valleyforge.org/hunger. That's valleyforge.org/hunger. Coming up next, Teed Off, and the panel considers if they had a chance to switch places with a big-time golfer, past or present, who would it be? Find out who they would like to switch places with. Next, it's Teed Off on Inside Golf.
Right. So then I thought, well, Sam Snead, because he's got one of the most.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues from the back deck here on a sunny, beautiful morning. We're at Lulu Country Club with our panel of experts. And speaking of one, here he is, Joe Logan's back from myphillygolf.com. Also, Communications Director at the Philadelphia section, PGA of America, Matt Fry. And from Lulu himself, we have Jim Sullivan. Sully,
you've been playing golf probably since what? You were
pretty young. Yep.
Pretty young. Is there one or two pro amateurs, maybe just an ordinary person, who you would like to switch places with when it comes to the game of golf? I can't imagine. You've done it all.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting question, and I've been very fortunate to have interacted with a lot of really cool golf people, right, through the Heinemans and Brewers and around Huntington Valley and the different people that I've played with and been exposed to.
John Rusk here at
John Rusk.
Lulu. We had to give that little
John
plug.
Rusk would be on that list for sure, Johnny. When I saw this question, here's what I came up with. I wouldn't trade places with any of those because I've been very fortunate. There's a name, Eddie Lowry. Eddie Lowry caddied for Francis Ouimet as a 10 or 11-year-old when Francis Ouimet won that U.S. Open. Through his life, became a very good player and played in U.S. amateur and British amateur level competition as an amateur. But he sponsored and organized, and so he was connected enough to create the original match. Ben Hogan and Byron Nelson against Harvey Ward and Ken Venturi in mid-50s San Francisco at Cypress Point. I can only imagine his life in golf connected him, gave him exposure and connections to people exponentially beyond what I've been lucky enough to have. So if I'm going to trade with anybody, I would go with somebody kind of not really known for their golf, not Tiger, Arnold, Bobby Jones, anybody like that. It'd be somebody a little bit on the side like Eddie Lowry, which would be interesting.
That's interesting. Eddie Lowry is he was connected in many ways, made a lot of money. He was a car dealer, I believe.
So, yeah.
In San Francisco.
Got in trouble with maybe, was it Venturi, Ward, or both of them?
Right,
Harvey Ward.
Paying their expenses, right? And he technically had or officially had a job as a car salesman, Harvey, but I don't even know if he could find a place, right, where he was supposed to be working. But Eddie Lowry, what a career, starting off, Matt, with Brookline and encouraging Francis Ouimet to keep going when he was about to quit in that big match. He was quite a guy. That's good. Good, so you get extra credit for that. Matt?
Well, my first thought was Ben Hogan, because I figure there's nothing more satisfying than working really hard and achieving your results, right? But then I thought, I don't really like to practice, and I don't need the leg pain from his car accident, right? So then I thought, well, Sam Snead, because he's got one of the most natural swings, and he seemed to be pretty well liked on tour. That seems like a pretty nice life. I think Sam Snead would have been great. He was a local guy working up at Shawnee for a long time, and I think that would be a very nice transition into a make-believe golf life.
And he won his first tournament, like in the 30s, and his last tournament in the 60s.
Yeah.
And still is the most tour wins he and Tiger have tied. I mean, that's quite a record. All right, that's two good. Joe, you got a lot to top here.
Well, Sully mentioned Harvey Ward. As it happens, I'm from the same little town in North Carolina that Harvey grew up in. I grew up in.
Which town is that?
I knew Harvey Ward for 50 years.
Thought I knew that.
Which town?
Yeah.
What's
Tarboro, North Carolina.
Oh, well, so did I know Tarboro. Kelvin Bryant, a great football
Bryant's
player.
Mike Caldwell, the baseball pitcher, was pitched against me in Little League. He struck me out a couple
Harvey
times.
Ward is from Tarboro,
He's
North
from
Carolina.
Tarboro. His sister was one of my father's best friends. Yeah.
Really? Wow, you go back with. Did you ever meet him? Did you ever meet Harvey? Harvey has passed on, but have you met? Did you ever have a chance to meet him?
I did have a chance to meet him. Really? I think I've probably told this story before. At a tournament in North Carolina, when he was actually a instructor at that point, and I saw him over there, and I recognized that's who he is. And I walked up to him and said, "Harvey, you don't know me, but I think you know my father." And he went, "Are you Conrad Loga's boy?" And I said, "Yes, I am." Awesome. And we sat down and did an interview, which I wrote about for the Inquirer, in a great big long story.
Really? How about that? Was he? What can I say? He was a good player. Never made it on the pro tour.
As a senior, he turned pro late in life, but by then his game was pretty much shot, or not what it once was, and didn't have a great pro career. But he did have 5 wives. So
5?
5, I believe it was.
He had to have a couple jobs then, didn't he? I mean,
and you're trading with that guy?
No, actually, the two when I saw the thing last night, I thought, the two I would be would Bobby Jones, who had like the greatest amateur career, lived such a charmed life.
Or Tiger Woods, or Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus.
And Arnold Palmer, because he was like the nicest guy. He was just an ambassador. He was, there's a reason he's as popular as he is, because he's nice to you whether the camera's rolling or not. And he's just a terrific guy, was a terrific guy.
And Harvey Ward grew up in a different era. I mean, when golf wasn't covered that much, a lot of amateurs, you know, did not turn professional, and they could have, but they decided
There was no
to
money
stay.
then. I mean,
right.
you know.
Unless you knew Eddie Ouimet and got a job.
Eddie Lowry.
Or Eddie Lowry. But Joe, I'm going to ask you this question, since you've been involved in covering golf as a journalist. Which journalist, golf journalist, would you like to have switched places with?
As I mentioned earlier, Herbert Warren Wynn would be great, but you mentioned Dan Jenkins, who, for the great Dan Jenkins for Sports Illustrated for a million years. And I used to have lunch with him on the PGA Tour, and he was just the nicest guy. We'd sit there, and I used to think, I used to lie under my covers at night with a flashlight reading this guy, and here I am having lunch with him. And he was just a nice guy, smoked a lot of cigarettes.
And he had a really good relationship with Ben Hogan, which
Yeah,
helped.
oh, yeah.
Which helped.
He
He had access to Hogan when Hogan didn't let anybody in that circle.
Well, there were
right?
people who thought Dan was a bit of an apologist for Ben, that he gave him a little too much slack. He did not believe that himself, but.
Right. Yeah, and this day and age, you know, TV now dominates coverage, Matt, of golf at all stages, pro, international, amateur. The writers, there's so many of them, and now with blogs and podcasts and all that stuff, you don't have that, you know, Herbert Wynn or Dan Jenkins or Jim Murray. Jim Murray was a great all sports, but he really loved golf too. You don't seem to get that, right?
You don't, and it's honestly, it's kind of disappointing, because you read some of these stories about Dan Jenkins hanging out with some of the tour pros and the great relationships they had, and then they can still go to business, do their business and write about them. Now the tour pros generally seem to take everything so sensitively, and they look at, not all of them, but a lot of times they look at the media or journalists as their enemies.
The opposition.
They're not trying to get anybody, they're just reporting. So it's a little bit of a shame.
And journalism has evolved from the printed word to the screen and to videos, and
Tweets.
that's follow the money trail.
What's really changed the equation is Twitter. An athlete now, a golfer, if he's got something to say, or she, they don't want to say it to the media or through the media, because that's a filter. They can't control what comes out the other side. If they got something to say, they're going to say it on Twitter, because they control the message. And it's that simple. So they now view you as a bit of a nuisance.
And now they have 2 or 3 people writing their tweets every day too. I'm
Right.
sure they're not sitting down, Sully,
Typing
like
their
you
own.
would, and bang out a couple tweets.
As soon as I load the Twitter app, I'll let you know. I haven't done it yet, but yeah, they definitely
We'll
have
get
a team.
them. We'll convert them. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll be back more of Inside Golf in just a moment. Designed by Donald Ross, Lulu Country Club is one of the premier private golf courses in Montgomery County. This classic 18-hole course boasts a new state-of-the-art clubhouse with many amenities for members to enjoy. Members are invited to play in events, tournaments, and enjoy guest privileges. For more information, contact membership at lulucc.com. The oldest state or regional golf association in the country hits a milestone this year. GAP celebrates its 125th birthday. Celebrating amateur golf since 1897, GAP has evolved to include 300-plus member clubs, more than 90,000 individual members. It offers events for males and females of all ages and ability levels. GAP continues to uphold its mission to preserve, protect, and promote the game of golf. Happy birthday, GAP.
While most drivers spend their lives going from point A to B, in America, we're all about point X. That's why our most versatile BMW X-Range vehicles are proudly manufactured right here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. The BMW X-Range, your next X-Venture, starts here.
Visit your local BMW center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. You know, we had a chance for the past couple weeks to show you the match for charity at Lanark. What a day it was. Hundreds of Lanark members showed up. They chipped in. The beneficiaries, of course, First Tee Program of Philadelphia, Jaywood Platt Scholarship Trust of GAP. And boy, it was some match. Thanks to the pros, thanks to the amateurs, a big thank you to everybody at Lanark. Just was a chance to show off some of the great golf in Philadelphia, and Lanark did its best. I'm Harry Donahue. Remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. Keep it going. And we'll see you next week on Inside Golf.
The 25th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. Your next golf getaway is in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Visit montcogolf.com. By the First Tee Greater Philadelphia. The First Tee not only helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit firstteephiladelphia.org. By the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, a community of professionals enhancing the game of golf since 1925. Make sure you thank your golf course superintendent today. By Gap, celebrating 125 years of amateur golf. By Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, a digital publication and private business network. Read the current issue free at jerseymanmagazine.com. By the Haverford Trust Company. For life's must-haves, there's Haverford. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia PGA section, the experts in the game and business of golf.